welcome to the 2024 Powerlifting America Classic Age Division National Championships, Day 1, Session 2. I'm your host, Adriana Davis, joined in the booth by Tim Thibodeau, and we have already gotten started on Platform 1, getting set up on Platform 2. This session is going to hold all raw male masters 2, 3, and 4 lifters. That are the masters lifters who are ages 50 and up. So that's going to be exciting. And we've also got the Sport for All division. On platform 1, Luis has already lifted. That is going to be David. Yep, that's David Berube coming out to 75 kilos. Platform 2, Gary Edwards getting set up with 140 kilos for his opening attempt. On platform 1, that is a good lift. There it is, having a little bit of technical difficulties here as we get started. Platform 2, that was unfortunately a no lift. And that got red cards, so that indicates that it was a no lift based on not squatting deep enough.
Platform 1 bars loaded for Joey Sonko.
And on platform 2, Todd Peterson getting set up with 150 kilos for his opening weight. Now, we're going to jump around between divisions here. We're going to try to keep you guys updated, but if you're following along on the stream, you should see a little indicator at the bottom that shows what division these lifters are in. Platform 2, that's going to be a good lift, 2 to 1. Three white lights.
Coming up next on the other platform, we got Eric Cooperstein.
Platform 2, Jeffrey Tryon getting set up with 155 kilos for his opening attempt. And on platform 1, we've got Eric Copperstein, legendary name in the sport, in the 59 kilo M2 division, getting set up with 115 kilos. He's won many equipped world championships, has won a classic title in 2016, looking to return back on the classic national team to reclaim his title. Unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift for his opening attempt. He got 2 red cards indicating that he did not squat deep enough. Now, Tim, you're a coach. You're handle lifters at a lot of these big level meets. What kind of goes through your mind as a handler when you see your lifter come out, miss their opening attempts, often the most nerve-wracking lift?
Yeah, so I mean, you said it perfectly there yourself. The first squat, it kind of sets the tone for the entire meet. That is the most important lift. And if somebody misses an attempt, at least in my experience, I try to tell them you just got to go out there, retake it, and try to shake off all those nerves, especially on a national level platform where you have the highest standard of competition, the highest standard of judging here in the country. You just got to go in with as little nerves as possible and just do your best. I mean, they obviously did a lot of hard work to get to the national stage show, so at meets like this, you sort of have that expectation of everybody. They know what they're doing, but mishaps do happen. People do miss opening attempts, but as long as they have one successful attempt, that's all they should be focused on, even if they miss their opener.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. And I mean, you see it across the board, not only from newer lifters, but also seasoned veterans like Eric. And we see that he has put in the same attempt. He's going to retake it. I think that's the right move. You want to, like you said, get on the board. You don't want to risk going up, especially when you kind of know that you're slotted to be that champion.
Yeah. I would say on bench and deadlift, at least it's more common from what I've seen, that if you miss your opening attempt, usually you'll go up, but squat, it's probably the most important event of the entire meet because that sets the tone for everybody. So in instances like this, it's probably best to just retake your opener and make sure that you get it on future attempts.
Platform 2, Kenneth Bennett walking out to 172.5 kilos. And on platform 1, Dale Garlitz, 155 kilos for his opening attempt. He's a Masters 4 lifter, so he's in his 70s, opening up with 155 kilos. Dale won the World Championships in the M4 division in 2022. He's last year's national championship, looking to return to the world stage. Platform 2, that's a good lift for Kenneth. Look clean on platform 1.
On platform 3, we have Jim Matthews.
Just waiting on the lights there. Look good to me. Yep. And the judges agree. 3 white lights.
Next up on platform 1, John Lachlan.
Platform 1, legendary name in the sport, John LaFlamme, coming out to 155 kilos for his opening attempt. He's won worlds several times. Typically, he's an 83 kilo lifter, but we see him today sporting as a 74 kilo lifter. Now, oftentimes with these masters lifters, older divisions, you don't see them make cuts into weight classes. Looks like he's being coached there by legendary game day handler Susie Hartwig-Gary, who just won the national championships this morning, and now coaching. 3 white lights, it's a good lift, he's on the board. Platform 2, Jim Cathios, 200 kilos for his opening attempt. Jim has been on the world stage before. I believe he placed bronze last year. Trying to return to that prestigious level. 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
Next up, platform 3, Gary Edwards.
And on platform 1, we see Thomas Ashbrook, 162.5 kilos for his opening attempt. This is his debut to the national stage. Kind of like Tim said earlier, this is the highest level in the country. You're going to have these a stricter standard of judging, and he gets on the board with his first lift in his first national level event. 3 white lights. On platform 2, we are moving fast. We are already on to second attempts, and that can play a big impact in how these lifters select their attempts, kind of considering the shorter time span they have between attempts. We see Gary Edwards opened up with 140 kilos, missed that attempt, opted to go up 12.5 kilos anyways. See how this looks from Gary. What do you think, Tim?
It's a little bit difficult to judge from the front, and that I was thinking the same thing right there as the judges just called. It was not deep enough. And that's sort of why it's important, especially on the opening attempts. Select a load that you know for a fact you can hit. That way, if you miss on depth, you could just sink it a little bit more and solidify your placing in the meet.
Exactly, and that's kind of the dicey proposition that you kind of talked about earlier, where you miss an attempt, you go up anyways, and you're kind of forced in that situation that Gary's going to be in, where you're going to be forced, your back's against the wall, you're risking bombing out of the meet. You've got to get an attempt, at least one in each discipline, in order to register a total, be in contention for placing, and be in contention for national team spots as well.
Yeah. Now, in Gary's case, the lift didn't look too hard, and as we're seeing on Lifting Cast right now, he did opt to retake the 152.5. So hopefully on his third, he just sinks it a little bit more, and he'll solidify his placing in the meet.
On both platforms, that was a good lift for both Todd Peterson on 2 and Carlos Lewis on 1.
Stephen Carpenter. Next on platform 1, Robert Lane.
Platform 1, Robert Lane, getting set up with 187.5 kilos, over 400 pounds for his opening attempt. Definitely looked good there on 1. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. On platform 2, Stephen Carpenter kind of put in the same situation as Gary, but he opted to retake his attempt. He missed his opener on depth. See what the judges say here. Good, he's on the board. Big sigh of relief there,
Yes.
always, from the lifters, from the coaches, when you miss an attempt, especially on depth, where it's kind of like difficult to correct on the day. And he's able to get on the board. And now he can make some jumps from there, try to add to his total. Platform 2, Jeffrey Tryon taking a 15-kilo jump to 170 kilos. Platform 1, Luis Carana, 75 kilos is on the bar, took a 5-kilo jump. Platform 2, unfortunately, it's going to be a no lift based on not squatting deep enough. Similar story on 1, that's going to be a no lift based on not squatting deep enough. And again, kind of like Tim was talking about earlier, this is the national level stage. There's going to be stricter judging. We do want to implement the standard across all levels, but the judges at these national level events are going to be just more experienced in judging those standards like squat depth. So often you will see that infraction a little bit more often. Platform 1, David Berube taking a 5-kilo jump to 80 kilos. Platform 2, Kenneth Bennett, 10-kilo jump to 182.5 kilos. Platform 1 is going to be a good lift. And platform 2, that's also going to be a good lift.
Next on platform 1, we got Joey Sonko. Next on platform 3, Robert Moore.
And on platform 2, we have got what seems to be a record. Kind of starting to clear things up. Want to make sure it is a at least national record attempt for Robert Moore. On platform 1, meanwhile, Joey Sonko, 90 kilos for his second attempt. Very easy, especially for a second attempt. 3 relax is good lift. Yep, Robert Moore, platform 2. Whenever you see a increment lift that is not an increment of 2.5 kilos, that should indicate that it is some sort of national record. Looked pretty easy for a record as well. 2 to 1, it's a good lift.
Next up, platform 3, Jim Cathios.
Platform 1, Eric Kupperstein. If you recall, he missed his opening attempt based on not squatting deep enough. Gonna try to sink it a little bit lower, try to get on the board. Looked better. Let's see what the judges say.
We'll see what the judges say on
Yep.
that. 3 whites, he's
3
on the
whites,
board.
it's a good lift. Again, another big sigh of relief, especially since he has been to that world stage, is likely going to be seeking out to return.
Jim Cathios.
That's probably the thing about world level lifters. They know how to adapt on the fly. So Pete just knew what to do right there and then.
Mm-hmm. Yep, if you've got that experience of being on the national and international stage so often, you kind of know that, hey, like you said, you can make those adjustments. You don't have to freak out or kind of if you get in your head too much, then it's just not going to end well for you. You can see how these veterans, they stay calm, composed, and a bit of a fight there on 1 for Richard, 142.5 for his second attempt. 3 highlights, it's a good lift.
All right, go next on platform 1, we got Manuel Rodriguez.
Platform 1, Manuel Rodriguez. He is a 2-time reigning Masters 4 world champion, trying to return to the world stage here. Going to be trying to pick up the national championship, try to return that world stage, pick up a 3rd title. 150 for his second attempt. And on platform 2, we've got Gary Edwards in that situation where he missed his first 2 squats based on not squatting deep enough, opted to retake his second attempt. Gonna try to sink it just a little bit more to satisfy the judges. Looked better.
I'd say that was it.
I thought it looked better. Gotta wait to see what the judges say.
Oh.
2-1, and we do have that front angle where it did look good. Now he could approach the jury. That's definitely what I would do as a coach or as a lifter.
Platform 1, Dale Garlitz.
And they might be overturning it. Gotta wait to see.
I didn't see anybody head over to the jury table, so we'll just see what
Yeah,
happens.
we gotta wait to see. But unfortunately, if that doesn't get overturned, then he is not going to be able to register a total. Which is always unfortunate, especially on the national stage. You know, all of these lifters have worked hard for months and months, even years, trying to get on this stage.
Exciting news, ladies and gentlemen. Gary Edwards' third attempt has been overturned.
Okay,
Oh, there we go.
overturned. There it
He's
is.
in the meat.
And that's a situation where sometimes the jury doesn't go in your favor, sometimes it does. That's a situation where I'm sure he's in the back, very thankful that the jury is there to save him. Platform 1, Dale Garlitz. 3 white lights, that's a good lift. Platform 2, Steven, 2-1, it's a good lift. Gets 1 red card for depth, but we've mentioned time and time again, you only need 2 white lights to get a good lift. You only need majority of the judges to agree.
Platform 3, Tom Peterson.
Platform 1, John LaFlamme, multi-time world champion, being coached by another world champion, Susie Hartwig-Gary, taking a 7.5 kilo jump to 162.5. Platform 2, Todd Peterson, coming down with his 3rd attempt already, flying through that on platform 2. Whoa, that's a great grind. That's the thing about these masters lifters. They will be gritty with their lifts. 3 white lights on 2, that's a good lift for Todd. And 3 white lights on 1, that's a good lift for John.
Next on platform 1, we have Thomas Ashford. Next on platform 3, Jeffrey Tryon.
Platform 2, Jeffrey Tryon, taking his 3rd and final attempt with 175 kilos. Relatively conservative jump, but again, these lifters on platform 2 are kind of in the situation where their flight is shorter. They've only got 7 lifters in the flight. These spotters are fast. It's going to be a tight turnaround. And that's one of the things as an athlete, especially the national and especially international stage, that you're going to have to adapt to little things like that on the day. Platform 1, Thomas, 170 kilos. Bit difficult, but I think he's still got some room there. And 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
Next on platform 1, Rick Brink. Next on platform 2, we got Robert
Platform
Moore.
2, Robert Moore,
About an attempt going out there.
185 kilos for his 3rd and final attempt. Again, we see that he took a record on his 2nd attempt and took a very, very conservative jump, just 2 kilos. Kind of adapting to the shorter flight there. Yeah, and that was the right call. It was just a very conservative jump. Wasn't there for the day, but he still walks away with the record from his 2nd attempt. Platform 1, Rick Brink. Looked pretty good, especially for a 2nd attempt. 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
3 white lights, platform 1. Next we got Carlos Lewis. Next on platform 3, Kenneth Bennett.
Platform 2, Kenneth Bennett getting set up with his final attempt, taking 10 kilo jumps across the board, 192.5. Platform 1, Carlos Lewis getting fired up for his 2nd attempt, 192.5. A little deep on platform 2. Judges agree, it's a good lift. Wow, really easy on platform 1. 2-1, it's a good lift.
It's good. Next on platform 1, Robert Lane. Next up, platform 3, Jim Cathios.
Platform 1, Robert Lane. 12.5 kilo jump to 200 kilos. And on platform 2, Jim Cathios. Again, another relatively conservative jump, just a 5 kilo jump to 215 for his final attempt. Oh, big fight there on 1. Look good to me, and the judges agree. 3 white lights.
Coming in next, platform 1, we got Luis Caruna. Right now,
Jim is the reigning national champion on 2, looking to defend his title, return to the World Championships. That looked pretty good for a 3rd attempt. Three white lights.
Is good. Next up, platform 3, we've got Devin St. Germain.
Already moving on to the next flight in platform 2. Moving quick.
Yeah, like we said, that was a quick flight. And that's again, one of those situations where these athletes have to be just adaptable on the day. Platform 1, Luis Caruana missed his 2nd attempt, opted to go up anyways to 80 kilos. I believe he missed that 2nd attempt on depth, and depth looked no question there. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 2, like you said, moving straight into flight B, where Devin's gonna open us up with 157.5.
But next on platform 1, we got David Barube.
Good lift on 2. David walking out, really determined for this 3rd and final attempt, 90 kilos in the bar. David has the experience of being on the national stage before. Gonna come out calm, cool, collected, but also determined to get this weight. Platform 2, Jason Pearson, 170 kilos for his opening attempt. Yeah, that looked clean for David on 1.
Jason Pearson.
Yep, three white lights. Nice and easy on 2. And that's kind of exactly what you expect from an opener. We're not expecting huge grinders here. We're not expecting any fireworks. You kind of want an opener where you're not going to run into that situation where maybe variables are off on the day, you kind of traveled, you might have had a weight cut. You're just going to want an opener that you can get on any day of the week, no matter the circumstances, no matter if you have to repeat it based on depth like we saw earlier. Platform 1, Joey, 10 kilo jump to 100 kilos for his final attempt.
Platform 3, Leonard Brooks.
2-1, it's a good lift.
That's a platform 1, Richard.
Platform 2, Leonard Brooks, 200 kilos for his opening attempt. Pretty clean on 2. Platform 1, Richard Carney, 147.5 for his 3rd and final attempt in the squat event.
Platform 3, Richard.
Oh, really putting in a fight there. Oh my gosh, I thought he lost it
Wow.
in 3 different places. Yeah, I told you, these master lifters can really be gritty.
Oh.
2-1 now.
I'd imagine that was for down and up
I
on the bar.
agree. If you're looking at the color cards, a red card, as we've seen many times, thrown out, that indicates that they did not squat deep enough. A blue card indicates, like you said, up and down or a soft lockout. And yeah, it was a difficult call. If I were the coach, I'd probably approach the jury on that, have that conversation. Platform 2, Richard Acosta, 210 kilos in the bar for him. Platform 1, returning world champion Manuel Rodriguez, Wow, really good attempt call there. Only jumped 2.5, but it looked like the perfect call. 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
Got a record attempt here on platform 1.
Yeah, John LaFlamme, just a legendary name in the sport. Masters 4 lifter, 74 kilos. Typically he's an 83, weighed in under 74 here. Attempting a national record attempt at 168 kilos. I can only hope that I'm squatting this much when I'm in my 70s. It's really amazing to see. Meanwhile, on platform 2, Chris taking his opening attempt with 225 kilos. Nearly 500 pounds for his opening attempt. Three white lights on 2 for Chris. John really taking his time, getting in the right mind space. He's got a lot of experience behind him, not going to get rattled by the national stage. Wow. Really good attempt call. Wait to see what the judges say. 3 white lights, the new national record for John LaFlamme. 168 kilos as an M4 lifter. Just incredible to see. Platform 2, Esteban Rubens opening up with 225 kilos. Exactly what you want from an opener there. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 1, Dale Garlitz, 170 kilos for his final attempt. Trying to go 3 for 3. Dale won the World Championships in 2022, trying to return to that stage, pick up another championship win, make that a 2-time world champion. Platform 2, Nathan Burrell, 227.5 for his opening attempt, 500 pounds. Wow. 3 white lights, it's a good lift for Dale.
That actually breaks John's record that he just set by 2 kilos.
Yeah, because Dale and John are, again, they're in the same division, Masters 4, 74 kilo weight class.
Next up, platform 3, Gregory Rawls.
Dale just opted not to take a chip on that, maybe deciding that he just didn't need it. Platform 2, Gregory Rawls, getting set up with 232.5 kilos, well over 500 pounds. Platform 1, Thomas Ashbrook, 175 kilos for his third and final attempt. Good grind there on 1 from Thomas. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Also a good lift on 2.
All right, we have another national record attempt for Rick Brink. 414 pounds on the bar for Rick.
Platform 1, Rick Brink, Masters 2, 66 kilo lifter, coming out to 188 kilos, over 400 pounds, being coached there by Bryce Lewis. Platform 2, David getting set up with 237.5 for his opening attempt. See how Rick handles this. Just a little bit sticky out of the hole, but it wasn't even that hard. 3 white lights, the new national record on 1.
Coming up next on platform 3, it looks like we're moving to flight B. Michael McQueen.
Platform 1, Robert Lane, 205 kilos for the Masters 274 kilo lifter, 451 pounds, trying to go 3 for 3. Platform 2, Michael McQueen opening up with 240 kilos. Really scrappy attempt there on 1. Way to stick with it. Judges say 3 white lights. It's a good lift.
Actually easier than his second attempt.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. These master lifters, they know how to put in the grind. And it's just really fun to see. On platform 2, that was a good lift for Michael. Charles is going to come out to 242.5 for his opening attempt. Platform 1, Carlos Lewis, 207.5 kilos. Took a big jump here. 15-kilo jump. His second did move easy. Really interested to see how he handles this. Carlos has won Equipped Worlds. Never won a Classic World title. Has placed silver, though. Looking to get on the national team. Wow. Really great attempt there for Carlos.
Oh.
Ooh, I spoke too soon. He gets no lift. 2-1.
Let's see if they approach the jury with
I
that.
would definitely approach the jury. I think his coach is likely going to. Yep, he is. Running over to the jury table. And again, the jury table is there for a reason. You are allowed to have that conversation, especially if it's a close call like that. Gonna try to have that conversation, get that overturned, especially because that's a big jump that you could be missing from your total, 15 kilos there.
Yeah.
Platform 2, Michael Reed. He's in the Masters 1 division. Now, all of our other lifters are Masters 2, 3, and 4. Michael probably had a scheduling issue, opting him to lift on the first day. Now, if someone has a scheduling issue, you wouldn't want them to lift after the other lifters, just because that would give them an unfair advantage. So that's likely why he's lifting today. Platform 1, that was a good lift.
First attempt, platform 1. Michael Sokol.
Platform 1, we have ended Flight A, where we have rolled straight into Flight B. Michael Slocum gonna come out to 117.5 for his opening attempt. Platform 2, Devin, 170 kilos for his second attempt. Really solid lockout down on 2. Walkout, excuse me, taking his time. Super deep squat on
Definitely
1.
deep enough.
Yep. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. On 1, on 2, 2-1, it's a good lift still. Gets 1 red card for not squatting deep enough, but you just need majority rule for the judges. Bars load on 2 for Jason Pearson, 182.5. Getting hyped up for the second attempt. You kind of see that very often from lifters where their first attempt, maybe they're a bit more calm. They know that they can do this any day of the week. Second attempt, it's getting a bit heavier. You don't want it to be all the way top end, but a lot of lifters are going to want to get a little more fired up for it. Platform 1, John getting set up with 175 kilos. Like a solid opening attempt. 3 white lights on 1, 3 white lights on 2 with good lifts.
All right, platform 1, we got Thaddeus Slay. Platform 3, Leonard Brooks.
Platform 2, Leonard Brooks, walking out to 212.5 for his second attempt. This is going to be Leonard's debut to the Powerlifting America National stage. Platform 1, Thaddeus Say, 175 kilos to open up his squat event. To the 1 on 2, it's still a good lift.
Come next up, platform 3, we have Richard Acosta.
Textbook perfect squat on 1.
Yeah, he's got that really solid form that looks like he's going to be able to grind through a heavy attempt on his third. Platform 2, Richard Acosta, 220 kilos for his second attempt. Richard has been on the international stage before, competed at NAPF championships last year, placed silver, and is also the reigning Masters national champion trying to defend his title. Platform 1, Edward Ruland, 182.5. Super easy opening attempt for him.
Coming next on platform 1, we have Larry Nash. Platform 3, Esteban Rubin.
Platform 2, Esteban, 10 kilo jump to 235 kilos. Platform 1, Larry Nash. He is the reigning national and world champion in the 83 kilo Masters 3 division. Looking to pick up another national title and return to the world stage. Slow and steady on 2. Three white lights, it's a good lift. Larry trying to open up strong here. Start off the day on a really high note. Three white lights, and he does. Platform 2, Chris taking a 15 kilo jump to 240 kilos.
Next on platform 1.
He's in the Masters 2 120 kilo division. Chris has got that beautiful Team USA singlet, indicating that he has been on the world stage last year. He is the reigning national champion in the M2 120 kilo division. Oh, excuse me, he was the champion in the 105 kilo division, opting to move up now into the 120s. 2-1, it's a good lift for him. Platform 1, Willie Wong, opening up with 200 kilos. Making it move fairly easy. Three white lights, it's a good lift.
Next up, platform 1, Marco Sanchez.
Platform 2, Nathan Burrell, 240 kilos for his second attempt. Going to be his debut to the national stage. Starts off strong. Smooth opening attempt there on 2. Judges agree, 3 white lights. Oh, excuse me, that was his second attempt, and it moved like an opener.
Coming up next, platform 3.
Platform 1, Marcos Sanchez, 230 kilos for his opening attempt. Marcos has competed on the world stage in both the classic and equipped side, looking to make his return. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 2, Gregory Rawls taking a 10 kilo jump, 242.5. Too worrying where it's an all-out grinder, but unfortunately that is going to be a no lift on depth. And I mean, obviously you're never going to want to miss a lift, especially a second attempt, but it is a bit worrying, especially when it's not a very easy attempt. Like you said, it was a little bit sticky out of the hole. So if I were the coach, I would likely look to repeat that, especially considering that you're going to have to sink it a little bit lower.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he does there.
Especially if it's a little bit of a fight like that, going up even 2.5 or 5 can make or break the squat. So it's probably just best to retake that attempt and build that total, because that's really what matters the most at the end of the day. You could be here for PRs and whatever you want, but your total is what matters the most.
And if you're maybe trying to get a bit greedy, trying to say, hey, I got this, I can jump 5 kilos, and then you miss it on depth or strength, then you're missing out on so many kilos by just walking away with your opening attempt. 3 white lights on 1, that was a good lift. On 2, for David Coach, that was also a good lift. 3 white lights.
Next up, platform 3, Michael McQueen.
Platform 1, John, 10 kilo jump to 185. Masters 2, 83 kilo division. Platform 2, we stay in the Masters 2 division, but jump up to the 105 kilo class. Michael McQueen, 250 kilos. look good from here. And speed looked pretty good too. Look how a second attempt should.
Exactly. Yep.
And kind of how do you want a second attempt should to move?
If we were gauging it on RPE, I would say like a solid 8.5. So about like 92, 93% of your best, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to want an attempt that is so close to your top end that
Yeah.
it's going to gas you out. You're not going to have anything left in the tank.
Yeah. But then again, it does depend on how you're feeling during the day because, like we said earlier, travel, all those things, it can affect your performance.
Platform 1, Thaddeus, 10 kilo jump to 185. That looks solid.
Solid second attempt.
Bit sticky. 3 highlights, good lift. Yep, solid second attempt. Platform 2, Michael Reed, 255 kilos. Oh, and that's one where I was going to say that's a bit tough for a second
I thought
attempt.
he had it there.
I thought he did too.
It was just that little sticking point.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult for him to come back and hit it on his third. If it was some sort of injury or if he knows that he's not going to be able to take it, then sometimes you see lifters scratch their attempt where they say, hey, I'm not going to come out. I'm not going to waste the energy. You've got 2 more events of the day.
Yeah.
But you've also seen the opposite where lifters, they miss an attempt like that and seemingly on strength, come out, able to rest, make the corrections, and then able to get it miraculously
100%.
on their third attempt. Platform 1, Larry Nash, 195 kilos. Move relatively well for the world champion. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 2, Charles, big 20 kilo jump to 262.5. Jumped pretty well. Had a bit of a sticking point in the middle, but nothing too crazy to worry about. And that was a good lift. 3 white lights. Platform 1, Edward Ruland, 200 kilos for his second attempt. Being coached there by legendary game day handler Arian Messi. Wow, yeah. Relatively a big jump, and he handled it pretty well. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 2, Devin, St. Germain. Final attempt here, 180 kilos for his third attempt. Platform 1, Willie Wong, returning world champion from 2022. Went to Worlds last year, unfortunately, was not able to post up a total. He bombed out at last year's Worlds. Trying to get a bit of redemption here. Platform 2, that was unfortunately a no lift for Devin.
Yeah, no chance to overturn that either because it was all 3 red lights.
2 to 1, it's a good lift on platform 1. Platform 2, Jason Pearson, trying to end off the squad event. 3 for 3 with 190 kilos. Look like a really solid third attempt there. 2 to 1, it's a good lift.
Platform 3, Leonard Brooks.
Platform 1, Marcos Sanchez, 240 kilos. Marcos has been on the world stage, and you can kind of tell he seems very calm, cool, and collected. Not going to get rattled. Platform 2, Leonard Brooks, 217.5 kilos. That was really smooth second attempt for Marcos on 1. 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
Yeah, with a lot of these lifters, you could usually just tell by their execution who is and isn't seasoned.
Yeah, because like you said, those more seasoned competitors, they've done through this many times. Not going to get rattled by the stricter judging or maybe the different variables like travel. Trying to stay calm and collected. Platform 2, Richard Acosta, 230 kilos for his final attempt, being coached by Matt Gary. He's got a good coaching team behind him. Platform 1, Michael, taking 130 for his final attempt.
It's a fight on one.
And three white lights on 2. Richard celebrates, as he should. He's the reigning national champion trying to defend his title. And on platform 1, that was a good lift for Michael Slocum. Platform 1, Jensen Monterey getting set up with 150 kilos. Took very, very big jumps, 35 kilos from his first to second attempt, 15 kilos to his third. Don't see that very often. Maybe you see that if a lifter is perhaps dealing with injury or they just want a lift on the board for their opening attempt. That is very, very easy. Not going to have any question there. Look like a solid third attempt, too.
Oh, 2-1.
Unfortunately, I spoke too soon. We've seen many 2-1 calls. That's going to be a no lift based on not squatting deep enough.
Seems like Greg sunk his squat a little bit more. Let's see what the judges say. 2-1.
Good lift. And that's very difficult as a lifter to miss an attempt, whether it be on depth or just missing flat out on strength. Come back, hit that, try, like it takes a lot mentally to be able to go in the back and tell yourself that, hey, I can do this. I know I missed the lift. I can come back and hit this. And he demonstrated that there. Platform 1, John Demchak, 192.5. Susie Gary seems to be handling a lot of lifters after winning her own national championship this morning. Really good call there. That looked like a great third attempt. 3 white lights, and judges agree. Again, looked like a really good call for the third attempt on platform 2 from Chris. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. And he did take a relatively conservative jump for that weight, 5 kilos. And it's kind of difficult as a lifter and as a handler to be a little bit honest with yourself when you have to take those conservative jumps. Platform 1, Thaddeus Say, 192.5 for his final squat attempt. Platform 2, Esteban Rubens, 245 kilos. Well over 500 pounds for his final attempt. Really good fight there on 1. Looked like the perfect call. See what the judges say. 2-1, it's a good lift. Go. Esteban with a slow and steady descent, but it moves very fast on the ascent. 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
Next up, platform 3, Nathan Pearl.
Larry Nash on 1, the returning world champion, trying to go 3 for 3, 200 kilos for his final attempt. Platform 2, Nathan Burrow.
Really getting hyped up.
Yeah, getting really fired up for 250 kilos for his final attempt. Great call there on 1. 3 white lights is a good lift on both platforms, 2 and 1.
Next up, platform 1, Edward Rulin. Coming next up, platform 3, Michael Reed.
Edward Rulin on platform 1, 205 kilos for his final attempt. In the Masters 2 division, currently forecasted second place behind Marcos Sanchez.
We'll see if Michael Reed on 2 can get through that sticking point in the middle of his squat.
I've seen miracles happen. Let's see it, Michael. No,
Just
he
a little too
knows.
heavy.
And I'm glad that he almost realized it very early. Sometimes you see lifters, even though maybe they know in their heart they're not going to get the attempt, they try to grind it out. But maybe that could be helpful on your final deadlift. But we are very early in the day. You've got 2 events left. You've got to think about conserving energy.
562-pound
Willie Wong going for a national record attempt, 218.
Wow, 218 kilos as a Masters 3 lifter in his 60s. Again, you see him get set up, not rush it. He knows he has time. He's been on the world stage before. Bombed out last year on the world stage, trying to get redemption.
Just a little too heavy on the day.
Just a little bit too heavy. Still walks away with 210 kilos. And on platform 2, that was a good lift with 255 for David Koch.
Next up, platform 1, Marco Sanchez. Also coming up next on platform 3.
Platform 2, Michael McQueen, 260 kilos for his final attempt. Currently forecasted first in the Masters 2 105 kilo division. But if he starts to slip up, starts to miss lifts, then David Koch could come in and steal away his slotted national championship. Def look good. Oh,
It's
good
a fight,
fight
but
there.
I think the judges are going to say 3 whites.
Yeah, it looked clean to me. And you are right, 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
Coming next on platform 3.
Platform 1, Marco Sanchez, 245 for his final attempt. Wow, really good. Really solid third attempt there. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Marcos is currently forecast about 20 kilos ahead in the Masters 2 93 kilo division. And we are done on platform 1 with the squat event. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take just a 10-minute break on platform 1 before heading into the bench press. The action still continues on 2 with a 600-pound attempt, 272.5 for Charles Van Valkenburg, in the Masters 2 120 kilo division. 600
Wow.
pounds. And it moved good. For 600 pounds, that moved pretty great for him.
600 pounds should not move
lift.
that fast.
Yeah, I agree. Charles forecasted well ahead in the Masters 2 120 kilo division. And on both platforms, we are done with this squat event. Like I said just a minute ago, we are going to take a 10-minute break. Do not go anywhere. Stay around for the action as Powerlifting America Classic Age Division Nationals will continue in just 10 minutes. We'll see you then. Welcome back to the 2024 Powerlifting America Classic Age Division National Championships. We are already getting started. Back to the action on Platform 1. Eric Kupperstein opening up with 40 kilos. Just a reminder, this is day 1, session 2 of Classic Age Division Nationals. Super easy opener there from Eric. Just looking to get on the board. As a reminder, this session is going to hold all raw male Masters 2, 3, and 4 lifters, as well as the Sport for All division.
Meet's going by pretty quickly thanks to the spotters and loaders that we have today from TSS.
Yeah, they're some of the best spotters and loaders in the country, making sure everything is very efficient. Luis Cariana getting set up with 55 kilos. Platform 2, Todd Peterson going to start us off with 97.5 kilos for his opening attempt.
Slow descent on one, but smooth lift.
Yeah, his ascent was like 4 times as fast as his descent. And that's kind of up to the lifter's preference. Some lifters prefer to have a very slow, controlled descent, whereas other lifters like having a very fast descent, trying to get that stretch reflex. But again, they've got to wait for the bar to be motionless before getting the press command. Platform 2, Gary Edwards, had a big scare in the squat event, but was able to get that final squat overturned, stay in the meet, now opening up with 100 kilos. Platform 1, David Berube, 57.5 for his opening attempt.
Very easy opener for Gary.
It's a good lift, starting off a lot stronger in the bench event than he did in the squats. Platform 1, that was a good lift for David. Got 1 blue card.
I want to know what that was for, because personally I didn't see anything wrong with his attempt.
Yeah, I didn't either. Perhaps the chief referee just thought that his elbows were not fully locked out, maybe at the start of the lift.
Maybe.
John LaFlamme, 62.5 for his opening attempt on 1. John, typically an 83 kilo lifter, now in the 74 kilo division. Up against Dale Garlitz. Dale currently forecasted well ahead, but a lot can change between now and the end of the day. On Platform 2, Jeffrey Tryon, 115 kilos for his opening attempt. Through outlets, it's a good lift.
Got an awfully close grip for John.
Yeah, super. That's probably one of the closest grips I've ever seen. And again, it's just down to lifter preference. There's not one form that fits all. Otherwise, we'd be watching essentially the same lift, and that would be very boring. But for John, perhaps he could have some sort of pec issue, or he just feels a lot stronger with that closer grip. Platform 2, Robert Moore, 117.5 for his opening attempt. Platform 1, Joey Sonko, 82.5 for his opening attempt.
Easy opening attempt for Robert, 3 whites.
And again, we reiterated this in the squad event, but for opening attempts, we're not expecting any major fireworks. It's a bit of a storyline when we do see a lift that is very hard or a failed attempt on a technical issue or strength. But typically, we're going to see very easy lifts. These lifters are just trying to get on the board, not going to risk anything by opening too heavy, or that's what we hope. That is not always the case.
Yeah.
Platform 2, Stephen Carpenter, 127.5 for his opening attempt. Stephen's the reigning national champion. Oh, 2-1. Unfortunately, that's a no lift for Stephen. Got yellow cards. Now, yellow card is kind of a catch-all infraction where it's kind of difficult, especially as commentators, to see what the infraction was for. That was likely either for his foot lifting off the ground or his butt perhaps lift off, and that is what those side referees are for, to catch those small infractions that's a bit difficult to see when you're at the front angle like we are. Kenneth Bennett, platform 2, getting set up with 130 kilos, being coached there by Aaron Kamesi. Platform 1, Dale Garlitz, 95 kilos for his opening attempt.
Just making sure he's letting the spotter and loader know how he likes his handoff. Some lifters prefer just to do a self lift-off. Others usually prefer a handoff.
Yeah, again, that's just down to preference. I would say getting a handoff is probably a little more common. I've known lifters who take self lift-offs in the gym, but on the platform, they want that handoff just so that they're not wasting a ton of energy trying to lift it off the platform, especially if they might not be used to the competition equipment that's used.
Yep.
Platform, that was a good lift for Dale. Platform 2, Jim Cathios, 142.5 for his opening attempt. 314 pounds, pretty sizable, especially for an opener here. I want to see how he moves this.
See that self lift off we were talking about? A little shaky at the top. We'll see what the judges say.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what the judges say as well.
2-1.
Now, interesting, I thought that would have gotten perhaps blue cards. I thought his elbows were perhaps a bit soft at the end, or he had some up and down. He got those yellow cards. Having that conversation with the jury. On platform 1 in the meantime, that was a good lift from Richard Carney. Platform 2, while Jim is having that conversation with the jury. Moving on to second attempts, Todd Peterson, 105 kilos. Slow and steady all the way through. Again, we are not expecting these second attempts to move very, very easily. We're expecting them to move harder than the first attempts, but not super hard to where they have nothing left in the tank. And that's kind of what it looked like there from Todd. Platform 1, Rick Brink, 102.5 for his opening attempt.
Solid opener.
Yeah, solid opener. Not the fastest opener ever, but some lifters perhaps we'll see on his second and third attempts. Either A, he opened a little bit too heavy, or B, that's kind of how all his lifts are going to move. Platform 2, Gary Edwards handles 105 pretty well. Through it, it's a good lift.
Now, we saw Gary using some blocks there. You want to explain really quickly what those are used for?
Sure. So blocks are used for lifters who need that extra bit of height from the ground and able to get the proper leg drive. So you see that often from lifters who have got shorter legs or lifters who just want the extra height. And it's more common than not to opt not to use the blocks, but occasionally you will see lifters use the blocks.
Yeah.
Platform 2, Robert Moore, Masters 4, 93 kilo lifter, 127.5 for his second attempt.
Quick press command on 2 for Robert.
Three white lights, that was a good lift for him. And on platform 1, Carlos Lewis, 115 kilos. Carlos looking to become the national champion. Once again, he is the reigning national champion, trying to pick up that team spot to go to the World Championships. Three white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 2, it feels like we just saw Steven with how fast this first flight is moving on to. Steven missed his opening attempt. I believe he got yellow cards, and it did look a bit interesting at the top. And yeah, I like that choice that he made to repeat that because it didn't look, again, super, super fast, but
And
he gets it. He's on the
lights.
board. Three white lights.
Next up, platform 3.
Platform 1,
Championship.
Robert Lane, 127.5 for his opening attempt. Relatively smooth. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 2, Jeffrey Tryon, 127.5, taking a relatively big 12.5 kilo jump. You don't see that very often in the bench press. Can you explain a little bit why we will see smaller jumps in the bench press as opposed to the squat and deadlift?
So bench is one of those movements, unless you're opening up super light and it's something that you know for a fact that you can hit, 2.5 kilos can make or break your bench press attempt. It's not the same thing as squat or deadlift where you could see 10, 15, even sometimes 20 kilo jumps being more common. You're going to see 2.5 between 7.5 kilos taken more often than not with the bench press.
Yeah, and you see that demonstrated by Eric on platform 1, 5 kilo jump. Super, super easy with that super, super close grip.
Platform 1, Luis Garuda.
Platform 2, Kenneth Bennett, 140 for his second attempt.
Yeah, on bench press especially, a missed lift isn't going to impact your total as much, especially if you're taking 2.5 kilo jumps. But let's just say that your second attempt moves relatively difficult. It's in your best interest only to take those 2.5 kilos rather than something big, just to keep building on your total.
Yes, exactly. And you will see lifters sometimes, they'll hit their second attempt and it's very, very difficult, but they opt to just take that 2.5 kilo jump because the bench press, perhaps it's not as taxing as coming out and taking the max attempt squat or deadlift.
Yeah, especially at these national level meets where 2.5 kilos can separate you between first and second place.
Yeah, it can very much be worth it then when you're in those tight battles to come out and try to get those extra 2.5 kilos.
So we'll see what happens with Jim here. We'll see what the judges say on that. 3 whites.
It looked a lot cleaner than his first attempt. And again, I had the wrong lifter earlier, but that was for Jim. On his first attempt, he got those yellow cards, and it was a bit unclear what that was for, but now he was able to come back, get that opener on his second attempt. Platform 1, David Berube, 5 kilo jump to 62.5 kilos. And that was a good lift on 1 for David. Platform 2, we're already on third attempts. Todd Peterson putting in a fight with 110 kilos.
That's what we love to see on these thirds.
Yeah, and the third attempt bench press is going to be the most missed lift of the competition, so we can see a really good grind like that, really good call. We just love to see it there, as that was a good lift for Todd Peterson on his third and final attempt.
Gary Edwards.
Gary having a much better performance on bench press versus his squats. If he gets this, he'll be 3 for 3 on bench.
Yeah, and that is very difficult to come back, turn around the day after having such a scare in the squat event. Literally bombing out, having the jury overturn it. Again, very difficult mentally to come back from. Let's see if he can go 3 for 3 in the bench.
And
Oh, that's a good grind, too.
perfect call right there.
Yeah, I think that was the perfect call as well. Yep, 3 white lights, goes 3 for 3 in the bench. Getting redemption from that squad event. And on platform 1, that was John LaFlamme hitting 67.5 kilos.
286 pounds for the over 70-year-old athlete. Let's make some noise for Robert.
Wow, on platform 2, we've got Robert Moore.
And this is what we were talking about earlier. From his first to his second, he took a 10-kilo jump, but second and third, you're only seeing that 2.5-kilo jump. This might be all that he have left in the tank.
Yep, and this is going to be a national record attempt for Robert. I don't quite remember. I think he might have hit the national record on his second attempt, but just taking that minimum jump, trying to add a little bit there. Yeah, 130 kilos from a lifter in his 70s. See how this moves for him.
It's a fight, but it's there. I didn't see any down and up on that,
Yeah, I
judges
thought
say.
that was a There it is,
Three
three white
whites.
lights, new national record attempt on platform 2 from Robert Moore, the Masters 4 lifter. And on platform 1, that was a good lift for Joey Sonko. Platform 2, Stephen Carpenter missed his opening attempt, was able to repeat and get it on his second, now taking just a 5-kilo jump to 132.5. Stevens, the reigning national champion, went to Worlds last year, placed 7th, gonna wanna return to that prestigious stage. Speaking of, on platform 1, Manuel Rodriguez is the reigning world champion. Again, another lifter trying to return to that stage. Really good fight on 1 for his second attempt. I want to see what the judges say on that. 2-1, it's a good lift. I believe that chief referee saw the same thing I did, where his foot might have lifted off the ground. But that's why we have 3 referees. Maybe the referee didn't quite call it, or maybe the foot didn't quite come off the ground. But he gets 2-1. It's a good lift regardless.
You have Jeffrey Tryon on platform 2 for his third attempt of 132.5.
Yeah, inching closer to that 300-pound mark as a lifter in your 60s.
Seems on both platforms, solid attempts, and both platforms, 3 white lights.
So next on platform 1, Dale Garlitz. Next up, platform 3, Kenneth Bennett.
Platform 1, Dale Garlitz, gonna come out to 102.5. He's been on the world stage, yeah, coming out calm, cool, collected. Not worrying that he's gonna run out of time. He's adjusting his wrist wraps off the platform, as the only thing you can adjust on the platform is a belt. Platform 2, Kenneth Bennett, trying to go 3 for 3, 145 for his final attempt. Well over 300 pounds here.
It's a fight.
Yeah, really scrappy attempt there for Kenneth.
See what the judges say on that. Teetered a little bit in the middle.
And
3
it's
whites.
good. 3 white lights.
Next up, platform 3, Jim Capio.
Good grind on Dale. Good grind on platform 1 from Dale. That is his second attempt, so I imagine, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, he's likely going to take just that minimum jump of 2.5 kilos. Platform 2, Jim Cathios missed his opening attempt, had to retake it, was able to get on the board, now jumping 7.5 kilos to his final attempt. Jim has podiumed at Worlds before, trying to return to that stage.
See what the judges say on that with that right elbow. 3 whites.
3 white lights, it's a good lift. And Jim, according to forecasted total, looking to, likely as long as he gets his opening attempt, going to be walking away the national champion and potentially getting that Worlds team spot.
Little too heavy here on 1 for Rick. He does have 2 options here. He could either go up, maybe just 2.5 kilos, but more than likely just going to be retaking that 107.5.
Platform 2, we're already on to flight B, as Devin St. Germain opens up with 92.5 kilos. On platform 1, Thomas Ashbrook, 115 on the bar for his second attempt. Thomas currently forecasted in second place in the Masters 374 division. Likely not going to challenge for first, as there's a bit of a gap between him and Carlos, but a lot of lifting left to go on the day. 3 white lights is a good lift for Thomas, and 3 white lights on 2, that is a good lift for Devin, starting off the bench press strong.
Next up, platform 3, Jason Pearson.
Carlos Lewis on platform 1, opting to take a pretty sizable jump, jumping 12.5 kilos from 115 to 127.5. His opener moved very well, so it does make sense for him to jump this much.
Yeah, typically in the bench press, we're going to see those smaller jumps, 12.5, a little more common in squat and deadlift. Perhaps just wanted a super easy attempt to get on the board. Let's see how he handles this. little difficult off the chest, but it was smooth all the way through after he got through that sticking point. 3 white lights, he adds those 12.5 kilos to his total.
Next up, platform 1.
Platform 2, Jason opening up with 120. That is a good lift. 3 white lights for him.
Platform 3, Richard Costa.
Platform 1, Robert Lane. Masters 2 lifter, 135 for his second attempt.
Platform 2, Richard Acosta opening up with 130.
Beautiful pause there on platform 1. A little sticky towards the top, but still a good lift nonetheless. Richard Acosta on 2.
Looks like a last warm-up.
Yep, and I expect nothing less being coached by legendary game day handler Matt Gary. Platform 1, Eric Kupperstein, multi-time equipped world champion, one-time classic world champion. Trying to go 3 for 3 in the bench press with 50 kilos. Super, super close grip. And that is very, very easy for him. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 2, Nathan Burrell, opening up with 137.5. That is round about 300 pounds there for his opening attempt.
Platform 2, Gregory Rawls.
Platform 1, Lewis, taking his final attempt, taking the minimum jump you can of 2.5 to 62.5 kilos. Platform 2, Gregory Rawls, 150 kilos for his opening attempt.
Easy opening attempt for Greg.
Slow and steady on 1, wins the race. 3 white lights for Lewis, goes 3 for 3 in the bench press event.
Next up, platform 1, David Berube.
Platform 2, Leonard Brooks, 152.5 for his opening bench press attempt. Well over the 300-pound mark. This is about 336 pounds.
Easy opening attempt for Leonard.
Yep, exactly what we want for an opening attempt. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 1, David Berube, trying to go 3 for 3 on the day, 65 kilos. Trying to go 6 for 6 thus far.
Oh, we'll see what the judges say on that.
Yeah, I did not expect him to get that up after hitting the sticking point. Yeah, unfortunately that's going to be a no lift, gets 3 blue cards, likely for some up and down motion. Platform 2, Esteban Rubens, 155 kilos for his opening attempt. Oh
Easy
yeah,
opener.
super easy. Love to see it. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. John LaFlamme, the 74 kilo Masters 4 division, 72.5 for his final attempt.
Getting hyped up for this last attempt.
Gonna have that super, super close grip. Yeah, it's got a bit of an uneven close grip as well, but again, lifters can choose the grip that they are comfortable with as long as they follow the standard of having their index fingers at least touching the rings or inside. And that was a good lift for John LaFlamme, 6 for 6 on the day. Really great handling job so far.
That's up platform 3, Chris Ingridson.
Platform 2, that was a good opening attempt from Michael Reed. Platform 2, Chris setting up with 157.5.
A little bit of a sink there with Chris. Some lifters prefer the sink, some lifters prefer the soft touch. It just all comes down to personal preference.
Platform 1, returning world champion Manuel Rodriguez.
It's a fight, but a little too heavy on the day. And that's what we were talking about before. 2.5 kilos, it can be a little bit too much.
Yeah, definitely. It can. I've seen so many instances where a lifter goes out, takes an attempt, smokes it, thinks they can even jump 5 kilos. They jump 2.5 and it just doesn't go.
Yeah.
Just because the weight is relatively, in absolute load, lower than what you're taking in squat and deadlift. So 2.5 is just going to be a larger percentage there. Platform 2, David Koch, 160 kilos, over 350 pounds for his opening attempt. Handled it well, too. Platform 1, Joey Sonko, 97.5. Pretty big jump there, 10 kilos from his second to third attempt. But
Smoked it.
yeah, handled it pretty well. Through at lights, goes 3 for 3 in the bench press event.
And as we start to close out the opening attempts on Platform 2, we're inching closer and closer to 400 pounds on bench from Masters lifters.
Yeah, just insane lifting here. And these are all Masters 2 and above lifters, too, not even Masters 1 lifters. So all these lifters you're going to see here today are at least in their 50s, if not older. Michael McQueen, 170 kilos, 374 pounds.
Easy
Wow.
opening attempt.
Richard on 1. Really good. Solid grind there, 102.5. Through it, let's good lift. And on platform 2, this is going to be our final opener in the bench press on platform 2. Charles, 175 kilos, 385 pounds for the Masters 2 lifter. Charles is currently forecasted well ahead in the Masters 2 120 kilo division. Platform 1, Dale Garlitz, 105 kilos for his third and final attempt. Dale, currently the leader in the 74 kilo Masters 4 division, has got legend in the game forecasted just behind him, John LaFlamme, but Dale's looking to be a bit ahead in the game here, trying to pick up these extra kilos towards his total. Platform 2, that was a good lift for Charles with 175 kilos.
Perfect attempt call for Dale.
Yeah, he really stuck through that sticking point. To the 1, it's a good lift.
Platform 1, Rick Brink.
So Rick missed on strength for his last attempt, opting to retake the 107.5. Let's see if he can clean it up for his third.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult proposition for him, but I've seen it happen. I've seen miracles happen. Let's see if Rick can have one of those miracles. Platform 2, Devin, 102.5 for his second attempt. Oh, handled it well.
It's just a little too much on the day.
I thought he was going to be able to break
Yeah.
through that, but just walked away with his opener. Still is on the board. As we said, you only need 1 attempt in each event, squat, bench, and deadlift, in order to register a total, be valid for placings. So it's a bit of a downturn in mental when you miss 2 of 3 attempts.
Yeah.
But as a handler, I would always, kind of coach up your lifter, say, hey, at least you're still in the meet.
Exactly, yeah.
And you can finish out the day strong on deadlifts.
Yeah. And that's the event where some people will say that's where the meet actually starts, because you'll see really, really close battles on the deadlift.
Yeah, you'll see jockeying around for a position, and it's just the end of the event. People are excited. Placings are decided. And on platform 1, that was a good lift from Thomas Ashbrook. Platform 2, Jason Pearson.
Got a quick press command.
Yeah, quick press man, bit of a fight for his second attempt. 3 white lights. I expect him to only jump a Very, very conservative amount, probably 2.5,
Yeah.
5 kilos.
Might be a little too much.
Richard Acosta.
Platform 1, Carlos Lewis, M3, 74-kilo division, 132.5. So close to that 300-pound mark, and it is amazing to see these Masters 3 lifters achieving these feats.
Slow on the descent, controlled. He sticks with it.
Oh my gosh, he's still going, but just going to be a little too much for Carlos today.
Solid second attempt for Richard. I'd say the same thing. I'd say at most a 5-kilo jump for Richard, but 2.5 to be safe. All right, and closing out the first flight on platform 1, we've got Robert Lane coming up, taking a 2.5-kilo jump, 137.5 on the bar.
Trying to get that big 300-pound milestone in the bench press. Platform 2, Nathan Burrell, 147.5 for his second attempt. Oh, really good fight there.
Perfect call from Arian.
On platform 1. 3 white lights, that's a good lift. And yeah, really good attempt calling on the day from Arian and Robert. Hasn't missed a lift since. Gonna try to continue that momentum into the deadlifts. Platform 2, unfortunately that was a no lift for Nathan. Got 2 yellow cards, not exactly sure what it was for. Platform 2, Michael Reed walking out to pretty conservative jump for this weight, and considering that it's openers to second attempts, 2.5-kilo jump to 160. Moved how a second should. 3 white lights is a good lift, and that's one of those things where it can be very, very difficult to be honest with yourself, be honest with your handler that, hey, maybe that was their plan, to take 2.5-kilo jumps. Maybe that's how he trains in the gym.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is we don't know what the lifters are going through. They could be dealing with an injury right now. We saw with him on squat, he just wasn't able to fight through those second and third attempts, so he could be dealing with something we just don't know about.
Wow, very easy opener from Jensen Monteri. Really just trying to get on the board there with his opener at 67.5 kilos. Gets a yellow card. Not sure what that is for. Perhaps he jumped a command the chief referee saw.
A little bit of a fight for Greg.
Yeah, it's a good fight, and it's good to, kind of empty the tank. See, you're trying to put as much that you're capable of on the platform as possible.
Yep.
But then again, he's got another attempt, so I expect him to just take a relatively conservative jump there. Platform 1, John Demchok, 87.5 for his opening attempt. Platform 2, Leonard Brooks, 160 for his second attempt.
Easy opener for John.
Yeah. Love to see it when an opener just moves super easy. That's exactly what you want. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Had to put in a bit of work there on 2. 3 white lights regardless, though. It's a good lift. Platform 1, Michael Slocum. Masters 2, 93-kilo lifter, opening up with 95 kilos. Another lifter being coached by Aaron Kamesi. You know he is on point. He's going to try to make the proper attempt calls. Platform 2, Chris, 165 for his second attempt.
Very easy opener.
And I expected nothing less. 3 white lights, that's a good lift on 1. We have an uneven lockout on 2, but that is completely okay as long as the entirety of the bar does not go up and down. 3 white lights, that's a good lift for Chris. Reigning national champion, defending his title, trying to return to the world stage. Platform 1, Willie Wong. Similar story. Willie has been a world champion in 2022, trying to return there.
It seems like he's on track to do that. Very easy
that was
opener.
A very, very easy opener with 107.5. Platform 2, Esteban Rubens, 165.
That is Sammy.
Handled that 10-kilo jump fairly well. Threw out lights, it's a good lift.
Coming up next on platform 3, David Cole.
Coming up next on Platform 1, opting to do a self-liftoff, we got Tadius Say with 122.5. Just shy of those glorious 2 reds on the bar.
Platform 2, David Koch, 170 kilos for his second attempt. Again, a lot of these lifters on Platform 2 getting close to that 400-pound or 182.5 kilo milestone.
Nice second attempt.
Now both platforms. Looks to be good lifts. Good lift on 2 and good lift on 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, platform 3, we have Michael McQueen taking a national record attempt.
Platform 2, Michael McQueen. You've got that chip on the bar, indicating that it is some sort of record, not a typical 2.5 kilo jump. Michael McQueen in the Masters 2 105 kilo division. 180.5 is on the bar for him. So close to 400 pounds. This is about 397 pounds for his second attempt. Gotta see how he handles this. Currently leading the way on forecasted total in the Masters 2 105 division. Oh yeah, that moved well.
I think we're definitely going to be seeing a 400-pound bench from him today.
Yeah, that moved very, very well for Michael McQueen. And sometimes you see lifters who are close to these national records and they kind of start to overreach, perhaps try to take on their second when really they should be taking on their third.
Yep.
But for Michael there, that looks fairly good.
Yep.
And on forecast, he's just 13 kilos ahead of David Koch. So Michael's really going to have to execute throughout the day to try to keep that lead. Platform 2, Charles, 185, over 400 pounds. It's about 408 pounds for his second attempt. Lifter forecasted well ahead in his respective division, Masters 2, 120 kilos. Just going to continue to execute, put up the best total he can in order to make the case to get a national team spot. Larry Nash on 130 for his opening attempt.
Oh.
Oh, unfortunately, that is a no lift on 2. Looks like it did look like a strength issue, but I wonder if he could have had a misgroove. It did look like
he came off the right of the bench a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like it started to go to his right side, perhaps maybe just being a bit unbalanced with the setup. So hopefully he can come back and hit it. But it is a difficult proposition to miss an attempt, seemingly like kind of on strength, or even if you have a misgroove that takes some energy out of you. So we'll see if he can hit on this third. Platform 1, Edward Rulin, 162.5 for his opening attempt. Super easy opener. Again, just so satisfying to see when an opener moves, how an opener should. Platform 2, Devin St. Germain, 112.5, 10-kilo jump for his third attempt. Wow.
Uneven press, but no
Looks
downward
like a good
motion.
Call. 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
10-kilo jump for both his second and third.
It's very difficult to make a call like that because, I mean, you're going 10 kilos up, your second had to have flown. So it's very difficult to call when you're making those kind of big jumps, like do I go 7.5, 10? And they made the great call there. Platform 1, Jensen Monterey. Very, very easy attempt with 80 kilos. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 2, Jason Pearson, taking the minimum amount of 132.5, or minimum jump of 2.5 to 132.5 for his final attempt. Platform 1, we are waiting on John Demchok, 95 kilos for his second attempt.
To fight.
Just not going to go.
Yeah.
Now, since he did jump just the minimum amount of 2.5, he didn't really leave any kilos left on the table. He put up what he was capable of the day. But missing a lift like that does take away from your energy.
Easy second attempt from John. We should see another
Yeah, very,
sizable
very
jump.
easy. Yeah. And again, that's kind of the difficult thing when your second attempt moves so easy. It's kind of like, where do you go from the third? And that's where these game day handlers have the privy of knowing what their training looked like, knowing what perhaps they hit in the gym.
Exactly. And the other thing, too, could be the equipment that they use to train in.
Platform 2, Richard Acosta, 140 kilos for his final attempt.
Say that was a solid call. He might have had another 2.5, but still, 140, you're just building that total.
Yeah, that moved great, going 3 for 3 in the bench press. Platform 1, Michael Slocum, 100 kilos for his second attempt.
Got Nathan Burrow coming out for 150. Went up 2.5 from his second attempt. I want to say he missed because of his elbows on his second.
He got 2 yellow cards, so that's one of those calls where we're not really sure what it was for. Perhaps his butt lifted off the bench, his foot lifted off the ground, even his head could have lifted off the bench. So perhaps that is why they decided to jump 2.5 kilos if it was a technical miss.
Let's see what the judges say on that. I didn't see anything wrong with that lift. 3 whites.
Judges agree. And that is kind of risky. Even though he only jumped 2.5 kilos, it looked like a limit lift, honestly.
Exactly.
So it's a risk that kind of paid off there. But in some other situations, you see people jump after a missed lift, and then it kind of burns them. But yeah, great job there from Nathan to come back and execute that on his third. Platform 1, Thaddeus Say, 5 kilo jump to 127.5. Platform 2, Michael Reed, our sole Masters 1 lifter of the session, 2.5 kilo jump to 162.5. Looked like a good call there. 3 white lights, that's a good lift.
That's a platform 3.
Solid attempt on 1.
That's 3 white lights, that's a good lift.
Busting the platform on 1, Larry Nash.
Platform 2, Leonard Brooks, hit 160 for his second attempt, taking a small jump to 162.5 for his final attempt. Larry Nash, the reigning world champion, 135 is on the bar for his second attempt. Larry kind of in a bit of a battle here with Willie Wong, world champion against world champion. Forecasted totals only 5 kilos apart in that Masters 3 83 kilo class.
Platform 3,
3 white lights, that's a good lift for Larry, adding those invaluable 5 kilos towards his total.
It's really going to come down to deadlift to see who gets that world spot.
Yeah, for sure. And the interesting thing is their deadlifts, based on openers, are only 5 kilos apart.
Wow. Wow.
So that'll be an interesting story to watch, keep an eye on during the deadlifts and during the third attempt benches as well. Platform 2, Gregory Rawls, 5 kilo jump to 165, 363 pound bench press for the Masters 2 lifter.
Solid third attempt from Greg. And from
white lights, that's a good
Marcos,
lift.
solid second.
Next up, platform 3.
Also 3 white lights on 1, that's a good lift.
Next up, platform 1, Edward Rulin.
Chris on 2, getting set up with 167.5. Again, another lifter just opting to take that minimum jump that he can. Trying to add just a little bit more to his total.
Coming up unevenly. As long as he locks that out, it should be a good lift.
And
3 whites.
3 white lights. Edward Rulin on 1, 172.5. Fairly big bench for Edward, and he moved it well on his second attempt. Platform 2, Esteban Rubens, 7.5 kilo jump to 172.5. Now, if you're paying attention, if you want to look at the scorecard, you can go to liftingcast.com, look at the U.S. Classic Age Division and Equip Nationals, and you could see in the Masters 2 120 kilo division, bit of a tight battle for second place, and Esteban's right in that mix. Through Air Lights adds those pivotal 7.5 kilos to his total there.
That's the platform 3.
Platform 1, John, 100 kilos for his final bench press attempt.
Perfect
Really
call.
good call from Susie Hartwig-Gary. Through at lights, it's a good lift.
We're down to our final 3 bench press attempts for platform 2.
Next up, platform 1.
David
Jesse
Koch,
Monterey.
175, trying to go 6 for 6 on the day. Hasn't missed a lift yet. Gonna try to continue that trend. Let's see if he can do it. With a big 175 kilo bench. Oh, and
It's
it's
a
a
fight.
fight. Elbows flare.
A little too much.
Barely too much. I think if there was 0.5 kilos off, he would have gotten that.
Yeah.
Jensen Monterey on platform 1. Whoa, 25 kilo jump to 105 kilos.
It's a little too much on the day.
Just too much.
All right,
No
we
lift
have
there
the
on
national
1.
record attempt on platform 3.
On platform 2, Michael McQueen.
Looking to break his own record by 4.5 kilos. I think he wants to solidify that 408.
Yeah, I think so. And perhaps he thought that the extra 0.5 would have been too much. Now, if you're in a very, very tight battle, then it is advised to always take the chip. You're going to want the chip advantage
But
over your
no
competitors.
problem for Michael at all. Smoked that third.
Yeah, that moved great. 3 white lights for Michael. 185, new national record for him. Forecasted first place by a good bit in the Masters 2 105 division. Platform 1 from Michael.
It's a good lift.
Slow come. Yeah, that's a good lift. 6 for 6 on the day thus far.
Now we'll see what Charles does here for his last attempt. It looked like a little bit of a misgroove. It could have been strength too, but he's got one more chance to clean it up.
And on platform 1, we've got the Masters 3 83 kilo battle developing. Willie Wong just trying to add the minimum 2.5 kilos here. And when you're in these tight battles, it could come down to these 2.5 kilos. If you need a reminder, he's going against Larry Nash for the national title. And that looked like a good call there. Yep, 3 white lights. It's a good lift for Willie Wong.
Platform 1.
Willie Wong, as a reminder, he is the 2022 world champion, while his competitor, Larry Nash, is the 2023 world champion. They're clashing to see who is going to return the worlds this year. And on platform 2, we are done in the bench press. They're going to set up for the deadlifts and then take a 10-minute break. But on platform 1, the action continues. Thaddeus Say, 5 kilo jump, 132.5.
Platform 1 before we'll hit that 10-minute break.
Controlled descent.
It's a fight, but it looks like this was...
Wow. I did not think he was going to be able to get that.
I'm
Let's
not
wait
sure
to
if
see
I
what the
saw a
judges
little
say.
down on the right side.
There it is.
Yeah.
He gets those blue cards for up and down motion, but it was a really good fight.
Yeah.
I think there was up and down motion, so maybe that's not why they're approaching the jury, kind of thinking that they're not going to overturn it anyways. But it could be worth it to have that conversation.
Yeah. If there's a chance to overturn, you might as well take that.
Marcos Sanchez, 140 on the bar for his final bench press attempt.
Quick press command.
Yeah, has that super controlled. Quick press command. The chief referee actually gives a yellow card, likely for jumping that press command. And Marcos, our last lifter was,
National record attempt for
or let's see,
Larry
Larry Nash,
Nash,
140.5, 309 pounds for the Masters 3 in his 60s, 83 kilo division. Larry Nash trying to get the chip advantage in this battle here against Willie Wong. Now, Willie Wong tried to pick up a chip in the squats by attempting the national record at 218, but missed it. Now, Larry responding. Now, he is trying to pick up this chip advantage. Let's see if he can do it. Wow.
It gets stuck at 2
Still
points.
fighting with it.
I didn't see any downward motion. Let's see what the judges say. Oh.
3.
And there's no chance to overturn that because all 3 judges agreed there.
attempt on the bench press for
Susie runs to the jury anyways. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a chance to overturn that, but it was close. It was a very close call, and that's why she's just walking over, having that conversation. But unfortunately, like you said, that's going to be a all the judges agree it's unanimous.
Yeah.
That's a no lift.
It's one of those tough things to call, especially when the bar just stops mid-rep.
Yeah, it's very tough to call if it actually went down. But Edward Rulin, wow, smokes 180 kilos. He had 182.5. 3 white lights, it's a good lift for him. And we are done with the bench press event on both platforms here at Powerlifting America Classic Age Division Nationals. Don't go anywhere. In just 7 short minutes on platform 2, we're going to jump back into the action with the deadlifts. Like Tim said, the deadlifts are really where the fun begins, where the meet starts. Placings are going to be decided. There's going to be jockeying around for position, and these lifters are going to give it their all on the platform as they lead into the last event of the day. Stick around. We'll see you in 10 minutes.
platform 3, Robert Moore.
Welcome back to the 2024 Powerlifting America Classic Age Division National Championships. We are wrapping up day one here. On platform 2, we are going to go ahead and get started. Robert Moore is going to open us up with 145 kilos. As a reminder, this is a qualifier for international events such as the IPF Masters, Juniors, Sub-Juniors World Championships, the NAPF Championships. Lots on the line here as these lifters try to put up their best performance possible to make a case to get on these national teams. As a reminder, in this final session of day one, we are going to have all raw male Masters 2, 3, and 4 lifters, as well as the Sport for All division. Jeffrey Tryon, 160 kilos for his opening attempt.
Solid opener, just waiting for that down command.
3 white lights, that's a good lift. Yep, and that's a good reminder that these lifters have got to wait for that down command. Sometimes you see lifters in the gym, they're used to, maybe they come from a CrossFit background, they're used to just hitting their deadlift, dropping it at the top. But here you've got to show that you have control over the lift. You've got to listen for that down command, have a controlled grip all the way down. Todd Peterson, 165 kilos for his opening attempt. Pretty easy. Again, exactly what you expect from an opener. Something easy. Not going to risk bombing out. Not going to risk disaster striking. And 3 white lights. That's a good lift.
Our bars loaded with Steve Carpenter.
Steve coming out for his opening of 167.5.
Steve is in the Masters 3 93 kilo division, forecasted with a good spread. Currently forecasting first place.
Being ready to start on platform 1.
3 white lights, that's a good lift.
Platform 1, David Berube.
We are going to get back into the action on platform 1. David Berube, 105 kilos for his opening attempt. David having a great day so far, only missing 1 lift. A little bit difficult at the top, but looks like he locked it out. Judges agree. 3 white lights. Platform 2, Gary Edwards, 182.5. Really had a big scare in the squat event. Corrected it in the bench, went 3 for 3. Going to be trying to do the same thing in the deadlifts.
Next on platform 1, Luis Caruna.
Platform 1, Lewis, 110 kilos for his opening attempt. Look good on both platforms. Judges agree on 1. And on platform 2, we get a red card. Now, a red card in the deadlift is going to indicate that the lifter was not locked out. So either in the shoulders, knees, or hips, that judge did not think that the lifter was locked out. But again, majority rules. And he got 2-1. Good lift on platform 2 for Gary. And on platform 2, Kenneth Bennett, 215 kilos.
One of our taller lifters, too.
Yeah, and that is a phenomenal opening deadlift in the Masters 3 division. 3 white lights. I think he's going to cross over the 500-pound barrier by the time we get him to.
Yeah, we're going to see a ton of 500-plus pound pulls today.
And honestly, at least for me, it's very inspiring to see these Masters lifters just go out, hit these huge attempts.
Yeah.
Grind out lifts. Platform 1, Joey Sonko, 140 kilos.
Pretty easy opening attempt for him. We've got Jim opening with 220.
A little bit difficult for an opener. I'll wait to see what the judges say. 2-1, that's a good lift.
So what you'll notice with a lot of these lifters that have shorter arms relative to their height, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them on the deadlift. They really seem to strive on bench press.
Yep, and that just goes to show that leverages can really make a difference in powerlifting. It can kind of show which lifts you're more privy towards and which lifts that maybe you have a disadvantage in. And like you said, these lifters with shorter arms are going to have a little bit of a disadvantage in the deadlift just because they're going to have a little more range of motion to go, like you said. Platform 1, that was a good lift for Eric Kupperstein, solidifying his total. Platform 2, Robert Moore. We are already on second attempts. 160 on the bar for his second attempt. Platform 1, Richard Carney. 145 for his opening attempt.
As a platform 1, Richard Carney.
Easy opening attempt for Richard, and good lift for Jeff also. Excuse me, Jeff is actually up right now, jumping 15 kilos. You're going to see some bigger attempt jumps here with the deadlift versus bench press.
Yes, for sure. I mean, just the fact that the load is relatively, or in absolute load, you're going to be lifting more in the deadlift, typically, very, very typically than you are in the bench press. And you're also using a little bit more of your body, using more of your back. You can kind of take these bigger jumps. Platform 1, Dale Garlitz, 175 on the bar for his opening attempt. Dale won the World Championships in 2022. Trying to return to that world stage. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. He's on path to do so as well. He is currently in first place in that Masters 474 kilo division. Has to stay on point though. John LaFlamme is not too far behind him. Dale is just going to have to continue to execute in order to lock up that national title. Platform 2, Todd Peterson, 180 kilos. Moved it very smooth for a second attempt. 3 white lights. Platform 1.
Solid opener.
Yeah,
see what the judges
well. 3 white lights for Thomas. Good lift.
Platform 1, Carlos Lewis. Platform 3, Stephen Carpenter.
Platform 2, Stephen Carpenter has that experience with the international stage. 180 kilos for his second attempt.
A little bit of a fight for Stephen, but seems like he still got it. 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1, good lift. Again, gets that red card for not being fully locked out. I believe probably in the shoulders or the knees on that lift. Platform 1, Carlos Lewis coming out fired up for his opening attempt at 180 kilos.
As he should be, because that moved.
Yeah, that moved very well for Carlos. Forecasted with a spread in the Masters 374 kilo division. Carlos trying to walk away with that title, trying to get back on the world stage.
Gary with a 10 kilo jump. Looked like a second attempt.
Relax, it's a good lift. Platform 1, reigning world and national champion, Manuel Rodriguez, 185 kilos. Yeah, doesn't seem too phased by that. Says, hey, that's what my opener is supposed to look like. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 2, Kenneth Bennett.
It's our first 500-pound pull of the day.
Yeah, huge here. 500 pounds on his second attempt, 227.5. And he moved it well. It wasn't like an all-out grinder. It didn't look like too hard for a second attempt. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 1, John LaFlamme. Masters 4 in the 74 kilo division. Typically an 83 kilo lifter. Has dropped down 185 kilos for his opening attempt. Bit of work there.
Yep.
Not an all-out grinder, but a little bit of work for an opener. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Jim on platform 2, 240 kilos, 529 pounds for his second attempt. Again, I remember this on his opener, a little bit sticky at the top, but 20 kilos didn't slow him down too much, considering that fact. 2-1, it's a good lift. Platform 1, Rick, 205 kilos on his opening attempt. 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
All right, we'll see on platform 2, spotters and loaders cleaning the bar. Sometimes chalk does get caked up in between the knurling, and that can affect grip sometimes. Not too much on brand new bars, but it's always better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, especially because chalk is meant to be a substance that helps you grip onto the bar, right? And if you have that caked up on the bar, then especially if you're pulling sumo, then it can get it stuck to your legs. You don't want that. Platform 1, Robert Lane. Pretty big opening attempt with 247.5. 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
That's the platform 1.
Robert has, with that opening attempt, secured his national title in the Masters 2 74 kilo division.
A little too heavy for Robert. Not sure if he was dealing with some knee problems. Saw him grabbing his left knee after that last attempt, but still had a great day.
Platform 2, Jeffrey Tryon, 180 kilos for his final attempt. Jeffrey has already locked up the national title. Hasn't missed a lift yet. Trying to go 9 for 9 here. Just put the cherry on top of his performance.
It's a fight for Jeff.
Yeah, really good battle there.
He left every kilo on the platform with that last attempt.
That was a good call. 3 white lights. It's a good lift for Jeffrey. He's your national champion in the Masters 3 120 kilo division. Ends off 9 for 9 on the day. Platform 1, David, 115 for his second attempt. 3 white lights. It's a good lift. Platform 2, Stephen Carpenter, currently in the lead in the Masters 3 93 kilo division, trying to add 5 kilos to his total. 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
That's a platform 3.
Stephen Carpenter's contender in the class is Todd Peterson. Todd trying to take a big jump here. Platform 1, Luis, 117.5 for his second attempt. Here we go, and on platform 2, we've got our first attempt change in the deadlifts. Todd Peterson is going to bump up his attempt to 205. Big jump here, but he's got nothing to lose. He's already locked up in second place behind Stephen Carpenter. Going to be trying to pull for the win here. So Stephen currently sits at a 490 kilo total, and he weighs heavier than Todd. So Todd has got what we call the body weight advantage. So if they tie on the total, then Todd's going to walk away the national champion. So that is why Todd has taken this big 25 kilo jump. And yeah, sometimes when you have these attempt changes, you do have a change in the order. So Gary Edwards is going to lift first, considering that you always have to have a rising bar in the weight. Platform 1, Joey Sonko, 152.5. Good lift for him. Platform 2 still just trying to get.
Yeah, not sure what's going on because we're seeing 2025 on the board, but 205 was loaded up.
Yeah, just trying to get that sorted out. Make sure the right lifter comes out with the right weight. Platform 1 in the meantime, Richard Carney, 160 kilos on the bar. The Masters 3 lifter in the 74 kilo division. Ooh, putting in a really good fight there for his final attempt. Or excuse me, that's his second attempt.
That's only a second, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much left he has left in the tank, but it does look like a lift where he can kind of grind it out, and that is a little more true in the deadlifts. You're using your back, your hamstrings, posterior chain. So I'm interested to see where he goes for his third attempt. And yep, on platform 2, I think they have got that sorted with the proper lifter coming out, proper number on the bar. Gary Edwards, due to that attempt change, is going to come out first to 202.5 kilos.
There we go. I was going to say they were missing the 1.2.
Yep, we've got lots of people double checking the weight, the spotters, the referees, the jury, really making sure that they've got the right weight on the bar. On platform 1, Dale Garlett's little uneven coming out, but he's able to lock it out.
And just as a reminder, this is Masters 4.
They're in their 70s, lifting 400 pounds there from Dale.
And it's a good
Gary
thing that they
Edwards.
double-checked the weight on that bar, because that was every single kilo that Gary had left on the day.
2 to 1, it's a good lift. Really way to turn around the day from Gary, from bombing out for about 2 minutes before the jury overturned his third squat to becoming the Masters 4 105 kilo national champion. Great performance from him. Platform 1, Thomas Ashbrook, 192.5 for his second attempt. Platform 2, Todd Peterson. Just a little bit too much for Todd. That's going to be a no lift. And that was actually Todd trying to pull for the win. Again, he had second place locked up. Didn't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
Took that huge jump there. Sometimes you'll see that where they take what we call a YOLO pull. But I mean, again, he had nothing to lose. Already had the silver medal locked up. And that means that Stephen Carpenter is going to be your national champion.
Yep.
In the Masters 3 93 kilo division.
We got a national
Wow, national record here on platform 1. John LaFlamme,
It's hyped up.
70 in his 70s, Masters 4 lifter, lifting 193 kilos. He's so focused, so calm. He's been lifting for decades.
And he deserves every kilo of that record.
Yeah, that moved really well. Really clean attempt there from John LaFlamme. That is a new national record for John LaFlamme, adding just another record to his resume. Platform 2, Jim Cathios, 15 kilo jump to 255. Jim Cathios, already your Masters 3 105 kilo national champion. He's been to the world stage, going to be looking to return. Speaking of the world stage, platform 1, Manuel Rodriguez, already your national champion, trying to add 10 kilos to his total. Looking to put up the best total he can, best good lift points to try to make a case to get on the national team. 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
Let's see, a little too much. Seems like it was slipping out of his left hand.
Yeah, he was having a bit of trouble with lockout, but Jim Cathios, still a great performance on the day, only missing his third his third deadlift, and then he missed his opening bench, was able to come back and hit it. 605 kilo total. You're a Masters 3 105 kilo national champion. Platform
Carlos
1.
taking a sizable 25 kilo jump.
Yeah, this is a huge jump. Let's see if he handles it.
Eh,
Wow, with ease, almost. 205 kilos for Carlos Lewis, Masters 3 74 kilo lifter. That's a good lift for Carlos. He's won Equipped World Championships, not yet picked up a classic title. Really trying to put up the best total he can. Already has pretty much locked up with that attempt the national title. Trying to get on the world's team. Similar story with Rink on platform 1.
And this is what we mean. Some people are just built to pull.
Yeah, I mean, based on his leverages, like that was a really good pull. 3 white lights for Rick. Again, another lifter trying to return to the world stage. He placed bronze at last year's Worlds, is the reigning national champion. And on platform 2, Jason Pearson. We are already on to the final flights of day 1 on platform 2, as Jason Pearson opens up with 207.5 kilos. Robert Lane on platform 1, 260 kilos. This is a national record attempt. He is in his 50s in the 74 kilo division, and this is 573 pounds. Guys, I am in my 20s, and I do not know that many people that can lift this weight. Phenomenal attempt there from Robert Lane at his debut to the Powerlifting America national stage. Awesome job there, walking with a national record.
The standards have just been increasing every single year. Just about 10 years ago, a 500-pound pull was impressive, and now people are here pulling it like it's nothing.
Yep, in the Masters division, nonetheless. Platform 2, Leonard Brooks, 225 kilos for his opening attempt.
Next up, platform 3, Richard Acosta.
Platform 1, David Berube, final attempt, 120 kilos. David's only missed one lift on the day, gonna try to go 8 for 9 here. Oh, has to put in some work, but he locks it out. Gets that down command, see what the judges say. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Platform 2, Richard opens up with 235. And that should be 2 to 1, that's a good lift. Gets 1 blue card. Now, I imagine that blue card was probably for supporting on the thighs.
Yeah.
Typically, it's either going to be supporting on the thighs or up and down motion. And typically that up and down motion is going to come either when you lose your balance at the top, like I don't think he did, or if it's a super hard lift and there's some up and down motion. Platform 1, Luis, trying to end the day with a 125 kilo deadlift. Platform 2, Esteban opens up easily with 240 kilos.
And platform 1,
Should be a good
there we
lift.
go.
There it is. 3 white lights. Good lift. Way to end the day.
Chris Ingridson.
Platform 2, Chris opening up with 242.5 kilos. Well over 500 pounds for his opening attempt.
Super close conventional stance. Unless
Yeah,
he
I've
just...
only seen that a couple times. But if it works for him, it works for him. He is the reigning national champion. So, of course, he's doing something right.
For a reason.
Platform 1, Joey ends off the day with 165 kilos. Good lift for him.
Next up, platform 1.
And yeah, for Chris, he went to the World Championships last year, trying to make a case to get back on the team. But it's getting more and more difficult every year, like you said, with the competition just rising and rising.
Now this is interesting because Richard had a pretty big fight on his second attempt, and he opted to jump 22.5 kilos, so we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, perhaps this is just a big milestone for him. 182.5 is that big 400-pound pull. It's off the ground, unfortunately, just a little bit too much on the day. Michael Reed on 2 makes easy work with his opener.
Seems pretty happy with that.
250 kilos, yep. Yeah, a lot of these times, these openers, they are to get on the board, but they also are kind of to gauge how you feel.
Yep.
Sometimes you hit your opener and it's just a little bit sticky, a little bit more difficult than you're expecting, or a little bit easier than you're expecting. And to the outside eye, it's hard to tell, but these lifters who are in tune with their body, especially these lifters who've got a lot of experience, can kind of tell off that opener how the day's going to end, where they're going to go to their second and their third attempt. Platform 2, Gregory Rawls, 250 kilos is good for his opening attempt. From 1, Dale Garlitz, trying to add 5 kilos to his total here. He is leading the way in the Masters 4 74 kilo division.
Just a little too heavy.
And he knew it. He knew it. You don't want to risk injury if you just know it's not going to be there. His total is likely going to be too much for John Laflamme to catch up to, unless he puts in a very, very big deadlift attempt. So we'll have to see from that. But John's got in 200.5 kilos. We're going to see that in just a few lifters on platform 1. Charles on 2 makes very easy work with 255 kilos. Really outstanding to see so many of these Masters lifters lift well over 500 pounds, getting close to 6, just with ease. It's inspiring to see. Speaking of, David Koch on platform 2, getting set up with 260 kilos. Manuel Rodriguez on 1 already has secured his national title, adding just 2.5 kilos, really trying to build the best total he can. And that was a really good call.
And now David was held a little bit longer at the top. I'm not sure if the chief referee just wanted to make sure that he was locked out because he did get one red light from the side referee.
Platform 2, Michael McQueen.
All right, yeah, I mean, that was a really phenomenal performance from Manuel Rodriguez there. He currently holds the world record total in the division at 445 kilos, and he put up 440 here. So hopefully we'll be able to see him at Worlds and potentially pick up another world title, break that world record that he owns. Platform 1, Thomas, just a little too much for the day. I think he's okay, just taking a little breather there.
Yeah. Very easy to get lightheaded on these heavier pulls.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
On platform 1, 442 pounds.
All right, yeah, so it seems like John will, even after this attempt, stay in second place, but still great day for him. He gets this, he will go 9 for 9.
Yeah, 200.5 kilos in your 70s. Has got so much experience behind him. Let's see him add another, break his own national record attempt here.
And there
Wow,
it is.
such a clean lift. Really putting in the work there. 3 white lights, that is a new national record for legend in the game, John LaFlamme. Going 9 for 9 on the day, ending off in the silver medal. And Dale Garlett is gonna end up your Masters 4 74 kilo national champion with a 457.5 kilo total. Platform 2, getting the bar set up for 177.5 for Devin's second attempt. Platform 1, Carlos Lewis. Waiting to see him come out. If he is going to come out to this attempt, he was so fired up for his second attempt.
Yeah. Still has 30 seconds.
There he is. He is so fired up for this 215 kilo deadlift in the Masters 3 74 kilo division. Carlos already going to walk away the national champion. Yeah,
Just
he's
adding
fired
10
up with
kilos
that.
more to that total.
2-1. It's a good lift for Carlos. Ending off the day 3 for 3 in the deadlifts. Your Masters 3 74 kilo national champion. Jason on platform 2. Getting fired up for this second attempt. Over 500 pounds. 227.5. Again, another 500-pound pull on platform 1. Rick Brink attempting to pull a national record with 228 kilos.
Can he lock it?
Held
Let's
at the
see
top.
what the judges say.
Yeah, let's see. 3
Three
white lights, and that
white
is a new
lights.
national record there for Rick Brink. Really phenomenal lifting we're seeing here. Platform 2, Leonard Brooks going to jump to 237.5 for his second attempt.
Leonard Brooks.
Platform 1, Robert Lane, already your national champion in the M2 74 kilo division, trying to pull 589 pounds. Let's see it from him. He already hit 260 kilos.
It's off the
Oh
ground.
my gosh.
Oh, little too much.
Yeah, I mean, but he stayed really patient with that weight at the bottom.
Yeah.
Still a phenomenal day from Robert Lane, going 8 for 9 on the day. 602.5 kilo total in the Masters 2 74 kilo division. And that is not too far off the world record, 20-some kilos off of it. Hopefully we'll see him go to Worlds and attempt to pick up a world title. Richard Acosta, platform 2. Bit of work with his second attempt, 247.5.
Definitely more of an honest lockout. And there we go, 3 whites, because he did receive 1 on his first attempt.
Platform 1, we are going to roll straight into Flight B. The final flight of day 1 at Powerlifting America H Division Nationals. That is a good lift for Jensen Monterrey. Platform 2, Esteban Rubens, 252.5. in the 120 kilo division. Lots of lifters clustered around the same, from second place down to fifth. Only 5 kilos separates. Really going to be a good battle there to get on the podium, while Charles Van Valkenburg leads the way. Platform 1, Michael Slocum.
Easy opening attempt for him.
With 165 kilos, very easy. Getting on the board, solidifying that total. Michael Reed with a super close conventional stance, 257.5.
Oh.
Might have had the wrong lifter there. Gonna get that sorted out. I think that might have been the case. Just the wrong lifter coming out. Glad they caught that before he ended up pulling that attempt. Now here's Michael Reed with 257.5.
Doesn't seem like that's going to throw him off at all. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, moved like a pretty solid second attempt there.
Larry on platform 1 opening up with 210.
Next up, platform 3. Chris
Larry Nash, the reigning world champion, battling out against Willie Wong. And we're going to get to see their attempts back to back, kind of compare the speed here as their placings get decided in the deadlifts. Platform 2, Chris, 257.5 for his second attempt deadlift. Had to put in a bit of work, but not too much for a second attempt. 3 white lights, it's a good lift, and now we see Larry Nash's direct competitor, Willie Wong, battling out for that Masters 3 national title. This would put Willie at a 540 kilo total, while Larry currently sits at 545. It's a good lift, 3 white lights.
I will say Willie's attempt was a bit faster, so we'll see where they both end up.
Yeah, we'll see where they go in their seconds. Willie, it does have the advantage of he went after Larry for his opener, so he could jump a little more. He could put an attempt that puts him over Larry on the second attempt. We'll just have to see. Platform 2, Gregory putting in a fight with 265 kilos. Gregory, one of those lifters in contention for a top 5, potentially top 3 placing. I'm not sure how much left he has in the tank after that. Thaddeus on 1, opening up with 220. Good lift, 3 white lights.
And here we have our first 600-pound pull of the entire event.
600 pounds from a Masters 2 lifter. Michael McQueen currently is going to, after opening attempts, is going to lead the way in the Masters 2 105 kilo division. David Koch will be 17.5 kilos behind him. So Michael, excuse me, not these opening attempts, second attempts. Michael's going to have to stay on point.
It's a fight,
It's
but
a big fight for him.
we'll see how much more he has left.
Breathes a sigh of relief there. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. Yeah, and it could be dicey to jump to a second attempt that's a bit difficult like that.
Yep.
Especially if you've got someone relatively close behind you, like David, who's going to come out next. If he were to miss that attempt, which I was worried he would for a second as he hit the sticking point, could really open the door for someone else to come in and take the title. Platform 1, Edward Rulin, 225 for his opening attempt.
And that was definitely an opener.
Yep, Edward's going to be about 15 kilos behind Marcos Sanchez, who's going to come out right after. So if Marcos starts to drop the ball, Edward can come in there. Platform 2, David.
275 from David.
So similar story from both of these Masters 2 105 kilo lifters, where that's a good lift, but both of them kind of had a little bit of sticking points with their second attempt. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from there. Marcos on 1. Looks good to me. 3 white lights, that's a good lift. So that puts Marcos at a 625 kilo total. Edward at a 610 kilo total. Edward's made a big jump, 22.5 kilos. We'll have to see how it pans out. Charles on platform 2 in that 120 kilo Masters 2 class. That's a good lift. Charles really leads the way while there's kind of this battle, underside battle for a podium position. But Charles continuing to execute. Took a big 20-kilo jump, too. Just needs to execute, gonna lock up that national title. Platform 1, Jensen, 150 kilos for his second attempt. Platform 2, Nathan. Wow, very easy on 1 for Jensen.
We'll see what the judges say on that because there was a little teetering at the top. All right, yep, got one
That
right
right
from the side.
yeah,
Yep.
that right referee kind of confirmed what we saw. A little bit of teetering at the top.
Definitely a fight on 2. We'll see how much more he has left in the tank after that.
Yeah,
But still,
that's kind of the trend we've been seeing. A little bit of a heavy second attempts there
Yeah.
on 2. But yeah, that's a good lift, and that was 275 kilos. And for the time being, that put Nathan in that second place position in that 120-kilo podium battle. Platform 1, Michael Slocum, 175 kilos for his second attempt. In the Masters 293-kilo division, being coached there by Arian Kamesi.
Looked as a second attempt should. Arian definitely knows what he's doing with handling.
Platform 2, Devin, 187.5 kilos for his third and final attempt in the deadlifts. Really great call there on platform 2 for Devin. 3 white lights, that's a good lift. Platform 1, Larry Nash.
Larry really taking his time here, making sure he's locked in for this second attempt.
Yeah, I mean, he's a world champion. He's going to be focused and calm. A little bit difficult at the top. 3 white lights, it's a good lift. And yeah, it's a good lift, but
How much more does he have left?
I don't know.
And can he stay in the fight?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, Larry Nash going to be in a battle here between him and Willie Wong coming out next. So Larry, that deadlift gave him a 555 kilo total. And Willie, with this deadlift, is going to be just behind at 552.5 kilos. Platform 2, Jason Pearson, trying to end off his day 3 for 3 with a 237.5 kilo total. Excuse me, deadlift.
Every kilo left on the platform right there.
Oh, yeah, he's excited with that, as he should be. That looked like a really good call. And that feels good when you leave every kilo you have left on the platform but don't teeter over. Willie on 1. See what the judges say there. 3 white lights is a good lift. And if you're comparing speeds, Willie's looked a good bit faster than Larry Nash's. So, and Willie is going to have the deadlift advantage considering that he is going to deadlift after Larry, probably just going to put on whatever he needs for the win there. Platform 2, Leonard Brooks trying to end off with a 247.5. Another lift that, can he lock it out? I think he does, and it looks like that is his limit lift of the day. Ended off strong, 3 white lights, 3 for 3 in the deadlifts. Thaddeus on platform 1, 232.5. Forecasted pretty sizable lead in the Masters 283 kilo division.
About the same speed as his opener. And that's the thing. Sometimes you can't gauge how well a lifter is going to do solely based off speed.
Yeah, of course. They're like, these lifts are so individual. I have many friends who all of their squats move slow. It can move very, very slow. Seem like a grinder, but they have 7.5 kilos left in the tank. Wow.
We'll see what they say for Richard. I didn't see any hitching or ramping.
3 white
There we
lights.
go.
It's a good lift. Great call from Matt Gary to end off 3 for 3 for Richard Acosta. 9 for 9 on the day, actually. Really great attempt selection there, as per usual, as we expect. Platform 1, John, 235. Moves fairly well for his second attempt. 3 white lights. Good lift. Michael Reed on platform 2, our sole Masters 1 lifter of the day. Now, Michael's in a situation where he's not going to be lifting with the other Masters 1 lifters tomorrow. So he's just trying to put up the best total he can to contend with them. 3 white lights. It's a good lift for Michael. Ends off with a 670 kilo total. Platform 1, Edward Rulin, 247.5 kilos. Wow, moved pretty well. He's, again, in a bit of a, and he took a big jump too, so he's kind of covering ground between him and Marcos Sanchez in the Masters 293 kilo division. Now we can see how Marcos's deadlift moves right after. Platform 2, Esteban Rubens.
Very solid third attempt.
Yeah, ending the day off really strong. 3 white lights, goes 3 for 3 on the day for Esteban. Really great lifting.
We have an attempt change in progress, platform 3 for Chris.
And this is where the fun starts. You get 2 attempts to change, or excuse me, two attempts to change your deadlift attempt, your final deadlift attempt.
And that's kind of where you see these lifters jockey around for position, kind of wait to see what other lifters do before putting in an attempt change. Yeah, so Chris, I believe he bumped up his third deadlift by 2.5 kilos. Yeah, Chris kind of in a battle there between him and a lot of lifters in that 120 kilo Masters 2 division trying to jockey around for podium position. First on platform 1, Michael Slocum, 180 kilos, trying to go 9 for 9. Lots of attempt changes there on platform 2.
Seems like he's got that 9 for 9 day in the bag.
Yeah, that looked great for a third attempt. And you are correct, 3 white lights, 9 for 9 in the day for Michael. Really good job.
Next up, platform 1, Jensen Monterey.
On platform 2, if you're wondering the current positioning in that Masters 2 120 kilo division, Charles leads the way with a 722.5 kilo total. Esteban, who just went and ended off his day with a 680 kilo total. Now lifters like Gregory, Nathan, Chris are going to try to pull for position, whether that be to take away Esteban's silver or try to pull for bronze.
We've got an interesting thing here on platform 1, a 50 kilo jump.
And it was
from
just
Jensen.
too much for the day.
That could be something that he's accustomed to doing, because if you paid attention to his previous disciplines, between his second and third, he took relatively heavy jumps.
Gregory on platform 2, that was unfortunately going to be a no lift. He just added the minimum 2.5. His second attempt was pretty difficult. And we've got another attempt change on platform 2. Let's keep an eye on this. First, we've got another battle on platform 1, Larry Nash.
He gets
Heading
this, it'll give
7.5 kilos.
It'll give him 570 if he's successful with this. Oh, excuse me, no, 562.5.
Yep, Larry Nash currently leads the way. He is going to have to pull first. He's got 30 seconds, trying to really stay focused. That's why he stepped away. Trying his best not to get flustered.
A little too heavy for Chris on the day.
Yeah, Chris made a big jump there on 2, trying to pull for positioning.
There's
There he has to
only-
pull first over Willie. This would give him, like you said, a 562.5 kilo total. Great
Seems
call
like he
from the
got
Garys
it.
there. Outstanding call, trying to push his total up as much as possible, forcing Willie Wong's hand to pull more than he is potentially capable of. That is a good lift for Larry Nash, going 8 for 9 on the day, currently in the lead in the Masters 3 83 kilo division.
So he'll have to jump up another 5 kilos because Larry does weigh lighter.
Yep, so Willie, yep, there it is, the attempt change. Willie Wong bumped up his deadlift attempt to 240 kilos. Gonna come out, try to pull for the win over Larry Nash by just 2.5 kilos. Exciting stuff here in this these Masters divisions. David Kosh on platform 2.
Playing chess, as some people like to say.
Yeah, exactly. This is really where the fun begins. David Kosh, not going to be trying to pull for position. He's in the Masters 2 105 kilo division, trying to end the day 8 for 9 on the day. Can he
Might
knock
look a
it
little
out?
too heavy for him.
Just a little too heavy on the day.
Let's see on platform 1 what Willie
His pull
does.
for the win. Willie Wong trying to pull over Larry Nash, world champion against world champion. Who is going to come out on top? Let's see it, Willie.
Oh, just,
And he made the proper move.
yeah.
He had nothing to lose. He already had second place secured. What else could you do? They made the proper call, but
Yeah.
Larry Nash is going to walk away the champion in the Masters 3 83 kilo division. Really great battles on the day between Larry Nash and Willie Long. Platform 2, Michael McQueen, 282.5 kilos. He's already national champion, trying to go 9 for 9 on the day. Platform 1, similar story. Thaddeus Say, already your national champion, unless John makes a big move there. But Thaddeus, 3 white lights, 8 for 9 on the day, 560 kilo total. Platform 2, unfortunately, that was going to be a no lift for Michael McQueen, but he still walks away your national champion in the Masters 2 105 kilo division.
Platform 1, we got John Demchek. Platform 2, Charles Van Valkenburg.
Platform 2, Charles Van Valkenburg, 282.5 kilos. Big 622-pound attempt here. Already your national champion, well ahead, trying to add 7.5 kilos to his total.
And it seems like he did it.
Yeah, really good third attempt there. Like solid, clean, just looked great. 3 white lights for Charles. He's your Masters 2 120 kilo national champion. On platform 1, unfortunately that's going to be a no lift for John. Ends off in the silver medal.
Platform 1, we got Marcos Sanchez, 567 pounds.
Platform 2,
Now Nathan,
Burrell.
he's got a chance to knock himself into second place if he's successful with this pull.
Currently
It's the
in third
last pull of
place.
the day.
Last pull of the day on platform 2 in that Masters 2 120 kilo podium battle, trying to pull into second place over Esteban Rubens. And on platform
It's
1,
off. Ah,
ooh,
seems like a little bit of a hamstring problem.
I think he's all right, but he's going to end off in the third place position. And
Still a podium finish.
yeah, exactly. And that's nothing to sneeze at there. And on platform 1, was
I'm not sure if
Marcos.
this was a placeholder.
It's a placeholder. So Marcos
Okay,
Sanchez
there we go, there we
in the
go.
Masters 2 93 kilo division, battling against Edward Rulin for the national title. Marcos went 9 for 9 on the day, 642.5 kilo total that he just solidified. Now Edward, he had that, like you
Yep.
said, he had that placeholder in of 300 kilos, just trying to make sure he would pull last between the two. Because their deadlifts are so close, I mean, Marcos just pulled 257.5, and now Edward only needing 2.5 more to outbeat Marcos Sanchez's total. This would give Edward a 645 kilo total. Marcos sits at 642.5, trying to pull into the win, pull for that national title.
And there it is.
And he does it with ease.
Easy left there.
3 white lights. That is a great lift for Edward Rulin. He ends off, due to his phenomenal execution and Arian's phenomenal handling, your Masters 2 93 kilo national champion. And we are done on both platforms. This has been so exciting. I mean, it's crazy to see how much the competition has grown. Battles all across the board in this Masters division. That has been day 1, session 2. Day 1 is complete of Powerlifting America Classic Age Division National Championships. It's been fun time, Tim. We're going to
Yes.
see you tomorrow, probably during session 2.
Yes.
We're going to be commentating. There's going to be 3 sessions tomorrow. We are going to have the sub-junior lifters as well as the Masters 1 lifters, and even have a Masters 1 prime time in the evening. You're not going to want to miss that. We're going to start early in the morning tomorrow at 8 in the morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Adriana Davis, and I've been joined in the booth by Tim Thibodeau. And we will see you tomorrow for day 2 of Powerlifting America Classic Age Division Nationals.